The sceptre shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty wherein doth sit the dread of... Nah, that's wrong. Do it again. Do it again. My name is Jay, and I've been looking at a Portia speech from The Merchant of Venice. It comes kind of later on in the play. It's in the courtroom where Shylock is trying to get justice. She understands the law, and she understands that her man is kind of in the wrong, but she's trying to use her intelligence and her words to try and convince Shylock to have mercy and to kind of take the high road. I think changing the gender in this speech is kind of irrelevant. I don't think it really makes a difference because Portia is in disguise anyway. She is dressed as a man. I think in terms of what she's saying, gender doesn't really come into it at all. I think that's what's interesting about Shakespeare is that gender is really played around with. In a lot of his plays, you can see him exploring gender through people disguising to be other genders and all of that. And I think that's a really interesting thing to look at because it is quite relevant to today. And I think the women that he writes are so powerful and intelligent. And they use their word to persuade people and to work with people. And I think that is a nice way to represent women. I think that is a intelligent way to represent women. What really interests me about the speech is the persuasion techniques that she uses in it. I think the language that she uses is so wonderful. And because she does understand the law and she understands the court, she knows that what she's asking for and what she wants is actually the thing that they really don't have to do. So what she does is she tries to flip that and she tries to appeal to their more caring side and their more friendly side, and she uses her words very intelligently and very well placed. None of it is kind of spontaneous. You know, you can kind of see that she's really thought about this and she is educated about this. Her language is thought out, but it's also very genuine, which is a really well written piece. And for a piece that doesn't necessarily have a lot of emotion or personal journey in it, which monologues do often have because they are kind of character driven, even though it doesn't have those things, it does still kind of take you on a bit of a ride, and it does have its ups and its downs. And that's what I really like about it is it's very straightforward, but the way that she uses it and the language that she uses is so intelligent, that it's really wonderful to explore. And I think this one especially is really great to do in our modern times because everyone's obsessed with like crime dramas and stuff now, and this is basically what that is. It's a courtroom drama. You can play it very natural as well. This is also the difference between doing Shakespeare on camera and Shakespeare on stage, is this you can do very big and you can do very loud, but on camera it's quite a nice one to play a little bit more intimate because she is appealing to somebody's more gentle side and more human side. It's a nice one to kind of bring down a little bit. I think Shakespeare can definitely be played gender blind. You know, we're seeing all sorts of things being done with Shakespeare nowadays, and in theatre in general. You know, I think we still have companies who are doing all male productions of Shakespeare, doing the more like traditional sense. We also have people doing all female productions of Shakespeare. It is certainly something that we should still be continuing to experiment with, especially because there's so much power play in Shakespeare, and I think gender really is a great thing to add into power play. In Shakespeare, a lot of the women characters are actually very influential to the men. They may not be of the same status, but their influence on the men is amazing. You know, look at Lady Macbeth and Macbeth. I'm far more interested in Lady Macbeth than I am Macbeth. What I like most about the character of Portia is that she uses her intelligence for good, and as a woman, she uses her intelligence in such a clever way that can capture men and almost prove them wrong, which she shows in this speech. You know, she shows that she has the intelligence and the knowledge, but she also has a heart and she knows what's right and she knows what's wrong. And she has very good ways of persuading people. So many issues and themes in this play and in this monologue are still relevant. You know, all you've got to do is log onto Netflix and see some of the hundreds of documentaries about the justice system. The justice system will always be there and it will always be there to protect people, but sometimes it doesn't protect people and sometimes it doesn't give the justice that we need. And the difference with this play is you do see so many different sides of that, and you see that, you know, it is a bit of revenge. And with the character being Jewish, which again is more relevance to the story, religion is everywhere around the world, and that's it causes a lot of problems. It shouldn't, but it does. These are all issues that are still relevant today and will probably always be around, you know, the issue of religion and the issue of the justice system. These are things that will always be there. This piece is interesting because she is in a courtroom and she is talking to everybody, but she's specifically talking to Shylock. And I think it kind of starts off as everyone and then it kind of zooms in just to him and then it kind of comes back out again. She's really targeting him and trying to connect with him, but whilst also presenting to this entire courtroom because she wants to say her piece and she wants to put in her sixpence. So the interesting thing with this monologue is finding those moments of where she's really directing to Shylock. And then when she does open it out a little bit to the courtroom, it's a hard thing to do when you're doing it as a monologue and you're doing it by yourself. But in context of the play, that's what it is. So you need to experiment with that and find those moments. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives, and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. The sceptre shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above this sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself. An earthly power doth then show like as God when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jew, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy. And that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much, to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which, if thou follow, the strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there. I think that's enough. Is it enough? Who knows?